then we'll go into our Week 6 sits.
Yeah, these are guys that if I saw them in person, I'd kick them right in the dick.
We got Marvin Jones Jr. for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He started having some good weeks, and then this past week, not so great. Marvin Jones Jr., you're telling me to sit him. I might be listening to you this week.
I just don't get it. Like you said, he came out hot like Hansel.
Which we liked him.
9 targets, 11 targets, 8 targets. And then DJ Chark goes down, and you're like, oh, this is even better for him now because this guy's already been getting crazy targets. Like DJ Chark's gone. Now him and Laviska Shenault should be getting more targets, and they're just not. The last 2 weeks, 3 targets and 6 targets. I don't know what it is. Maybe, yeah, I don't know what it is. Last week we had Dan Arnold lead the team in targets, a guy who we'll touch on a little bit later. But, yeah, I don't like this matchup here, especially as a Dolphins fan. I do believe. I know we got torched by Tom Brady and the Buccaneers last week, but it's Tom fucking Brady.
Yeah.
AB looks like prime AB. I mean, we saw it tonight on Thursday Night Football. I think it was like 9 for 91 and a touchdown. Mike Evans is good. Godwin's is good. Those guys are really good. So, obviously, they like I said, they torched Miami. But, in terms of a rookie quarterback who's struggling, who's thrown 8 interceptions already, if Xavier Howard's going to be on him, Byron Jones is going to be on him, I'm expecting those guys to limit Marvin Jones' upside, especially if he's coming off 2 dud games like this. Like, I just don't see the upside of what he presents in a game that's going to be played in London now, too, as well. So, yeah, I would be fading Marvin Jones in this match. I got to see it, I think, one more time before I feel comfortable throwing him in my lineup. I do believe there are better days ahead for Marvin Jones. I mean, he's been playing like 90, 95% of the snaps.
So he's out there.
But, I mean, the last 2 games, 1 catch for 25 yards, 3 catches for 24 yards. I mean, he hasn't had a touchdown since week 2.
Yeah, the matchup's scary.
It's just gross. Well. It's just a gross matchup. He hasn't been performing well, so, yeah, I'd be fading Marvin Jones if possible in this matchup, especially when, I do feel like there are a lot more wide receivers to choose from.
There's so many
compared to
so many options.
Running backs, Obviously, any given week, a receiver can go out. Could he have a game where he gets you, 4 or 5 catches for, 70, 80 yards and a touchdown? 1,000%. Anything's possible in the NFL any given week. But I would say the odds are stacked against him to do something like that. And I would rather go with a guy like Hunter Renfrow who can get me, I know I'm going to get at least 10 points automatic, no matter what. Yeah. At least what the numbers are telling me. I'm going to get 10 points automatic with Hunter Renfrow. So yeah, I'd be fading Marvin Jones.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm totally with you on that one. That's Marvin Jones. A little sketchy. Your corners are good in Miami. We got next one here, week 6 sit. You're just taking out all your anger on these guys. You got Allen Robinson. What'd you put? Allen's robbing my season.
So yeah, I changed my team name in one of my leagues because I
think we said it last time, but go ahead.
But I changed it. This is pretty good. I feel like. Humble brag here, but I changed my name to Allen Robbing My Season because he's robbing my season because I start him every week and he's killing me every single week because he's Allen Robinson and I know how good he is, and I'm not even saying that he's not good. I just think that Justin Fields isn't good, and I think this Bears offense isn't very good.
Let me ask you a question because I know you shit on Justin Fields, but do you think Justin Fields isn't good, or do you think that it's just he's new and he's just a rookie and he's having his struggles with the bad coaching staff?
Both.
Because that's what I think.
Both. I think it's a mixture of the play calling. I think it's a mixture of Justin Fields being raw and being a rookie. I think it's a mixture of him just not being very good. Everything. All of the above. That is the question there. But
you said bring back Mitch Trubisky.
It's just crazy because, yeah, I mean, for as bad as we knocked on Mitchell Trubisky and as much, shit we've talked on Mitchell Trubisky for not being very good, he still supported Allen Robinson as being like this top, 12, top 15 receiver where he was getting peppered with targets and he was a reliable guy each and every week. I mean, the targets are just not there. I mean, week 1 against the Rams, which is a tough matchup against Jalen Ramsey, with Andy Dalton at quarterback, 11 targets. The targets after that, after Andy Dalton goes down, 4, 6, 3, and 5. My guy has always been known as a guy who's supposed to get you 8, 9, 10, 11 targets, and he's getting you 3, 4, 5 targets a game. Like, this is just gross. I mean, the Bears, third lowest completion percentage in the league. They're averaging the fewest passing yards in the league. They have the second lowest yards per attempt in the league. And they're averaging just 113 passing yards per game. This is just gross. They have 2 passing touchdowns on the entire year, and this is largely due because Justin Fields is not getting it done. Like, it's just that's plain and simple. Like, it's not like Allen Robinson isn't a guy who can't get it done, because like I said, if we're knocking Trubisky for so many years for being so bad, Allen Robinson still got it done with him. And it's like I just don't know. It's just gross, and it's just hard to start a guy even as talented as Allen Robinson is. It's just hard to start a guy like that from what the stats are telling me, from what the numbers are telling me. I always say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. The numbers are telling me right now that the Bears' passing attack is the worst passing offense in the NFL. So I do not want to start a player on that team.
Well, look, I just pulled up the Justin Fields. I mean, look, the guy it's not even that it's not good, it's non-existent. Passing attempts, he in these games 13, 20, 17, 20.
Yeah, that's
in today's NFL, that amount of passing attempts is fucking Big Ben threw it 58 times, and he's 400 years old.
Dude, Darren Waller had like 20 targets in one game.
Dude, and you're telling me that the entire Bears offense, they threw the ball 20 times now? Yeah, it's like it's that. Just, I mean, you want to talk about, you hype up your boy Khalil Herbert, you only throw the fucking ball 20 times. It's like, yeah.
It's just tough, too, and it's like, I don't know what to do with Allen Robinson, because it's like you try to trade him, you're trading for 25 cents on the dollar right now. Like, you're selling extremely low for where you drafted him. And here's the thing. He always has the opportunity to be Allen Robinson and what he's done in the past. You know, maybe Andy Dalton comes back. Maybe Justin Fields gets it together in the second half of the season. So it's like, what do you do with him? Do you just hold on for dear life thinking like, okay, maybe he can come back and be what we thought he could be? Or do you try to sell him low? But then on the flip side, like, nobody wants him. Like, every time I try to trade him to anybody, nobody wants him right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I have him in Dynasty, so tell me about it.
Yeah.
I forgot what I was going to say.
I think I just need to see it from him.
Okay, wait. Can I say it really quick?
Yep.
Sorry. I think that the only reason you're starting Allen Robinson is because you're so deathly afraid that he's going to put up a huge week and you put him on your bench. I think that's the only reason you start him. And then if you want to do that, that's fine. But
I would just like this guy to go somewhere else. I mean,
me too.
Honestly, he's on the franchise tag. So it's like 1 year, 17, 18 million, whatever it is that he's getting paid. If I'm Allen Robinson, I don't care if the Bears were to pay me $200 million. Like, I would not want to be on that team. And obviously you don't know. Some people want the money, like Le'Veon Bell. Some people don't care about the money, like Juju. Juju wanted to stay in Pittsburgh with the Steelers. He got offered a better contract to go to the Chiefs, which he's probably regretting, honestly. But he didn't, because he's loyal and he wanted to be with Pittsburgh. So some people are different. They want the money. Some people don't. They just want to be happy in their situation. Yeah. If I'm Allen Robinson, there is 0% chance that I'm staying with the Bears in this offseason, especially after you didn't give me a contract, and now I see how bad they are. Like, get me out of there. And if I'm the Bears, I know he's probably not going to stay with us next year, and I know we're probably not going to keep him next year. I would honestly be trying to shop and trade Allen Robinson and try to get some capital. I mean, if I can get a first-round pick for him, second-round pick, whatever it is, it's like it's better than – the Bears aren't going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make any noise. They're not going to the Super Bowl. It's like, instead of just having him suck for the whole season, why not trade him away for like a second-round pick and get something in return instead of just losing him for nothing at the end of the year? That's just my opinion if I was like an NFL GM. But what do I know? I'm just a fantasy football GM.
Very good. Let's go on to the next. Let's go on to the next one. That's enough Allen Robinson talk because if we talk about him more, well, I might have a stroke.
Dude, yeah.
Dude, let's go on through Robby Anderson. You're saying sit down.
Dude, these guys are just robbing our seasons.
Big old draft neck. What's up with Robby Anderson?
So, hashtag interesting stat. Robby Anderson had 1 catch for 57 yards in week 1. How many other games out of the 5 weeks that he's played has he had over 55 yards? Because he had over 55 yards at one time. So, how many games in the other 4 games has he had more receiving yards than that first week?
Well, the way you set up this question, I'm gonna guess 0.
That is correct. 0 games. He had 57 yards in week 1 on 1 reception for the long touchdown. Saved you your fantasy day if you played him there. But after that, he hasn't had over 50 receiving yards in any game after that.
He's on the waiver wire in some.
He's been under 10 PPR points in 4 of the 5 games. The only game he obviously had over 10 PPR points was that one game with the 1 catch for 57 yards and a touchdown. I don't know. I'm just like flabbergasted at why you would have a guy like Robby Anderson who has the rapport with Sam Darnold, who they signed to a contract extension in the offseason before the season started, and then just not incorporate him at all. Like, it just blows my mind. What are you paying him $10-12 million for to do nothing?
But DJ Moore.
I mean, granted, yeah, good for DJ Moore, but why would you pay that guy that much money if you're just going to throw him the ball twice a game?
Yeah.
Guy's making like $500,000 per pass attempt, or per target, or whatever it is. Like, it's insane. It's insane. So I don't know. And I like Robby Anderson. I think Robby Anderson is super talented. I think he's one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. And I was kind of excited to see what he could do with Sam Darnold, being reunited with Sam Darnold, in this, pass first offense here. But I don't know if it's with Christian McCaffrey coming back. You got Terrace Marshall, the rookie. DJ Moore is kind of emerging as the alpha in this offense, and the go-to guy, the first read. So, but yeah, I would just
look elsewhere.
I don't understand me. Yeah, and, most people probably aren't starting Robby Anderson, but I just had to emphasize on it that it's just it's a Estancia.
Would you drop him?
Gross. I mean, at this point, yeah, dude, there's better options out there. I mean,
Yeah. Who would you drop him for?
I mean, off the top of my head, I was thinking Devontae Parker, but
Devontae Parker, yeah.
I mean, Devontae Parker averaging 8 targets per game, but I mean, there's a lot of players out there that, if you go, Kadarius Toney's probably still available in some leagues. I'm going out and getting a guy like that if I can. So, yeah, just fading Robby Anderson.
Would you pick up Amon-Ra St. Brown?
I would like Amon-Ra St. Brown over Robby Anderson.
Nice. Nice. Okay. Let's go on to last one here for the sits, I think. Am I correct?
Yeah, dude.
We got Odell Beckham Jr. for the Cleveland Browns. Baker Mayfield, dealing with this thing. Odell Beckham Jr. When are we ever, it's been years since anybody's been excited about Odell Beckham Jr., but I think that this is similar in the what you were talking about with feeling the obligation to play Allen Robinson. You might feel obligated. You see Odell Beckham Jr., you got to play him. Why not?
I mean, yeah, I've said it 100 times. I just think OBJ, I almost said ODB. I mean, yeah, this guy is the old dirty bastard, OBJ, because you put him in your lineup. But, yeah, I think OBJ's best days are long behind him. And it's just that name. It's just that highlight reel catch, I feel like. I think Matthew Berry tweeted it. But, if you were to take away the name Odell Beckham Jr. and you were just to do, a points-per-game basis of what he's done since being with the Cleveland Browns, he's, on a points-per-game basis, he averages, wide receiver 40. That's what he is. So,
yeah,
it's just gross. I mean, there's a stat, too, that came out and said Baker Mayfield, his completion percentage, his QBR, his QB rating, it's worse when Odell's on the field, which is weird because you think, hey, having a guy as talented as he is,
you would think it would spread the offense. You would think a lot. You would think But you're right. It really doesn't when you look into it.
Yeah, and this is a run-first team. They want to run with Chubb. They want to get Kareem Hunt involved. He's had back-to-back games under 30 yards. It's just, if I was to tell you, hey, the Browns scored over 40 points, you would think like, oh, Odell must have had, 5 for 80, something. I don't know, 6 or 70, something, right? You would think, but no.
Yeah.
Like, he was non-existent in this game, which is just absurd when you really think about it.
Yeah.
So it's just hard to have any kind of confidence in Odell Beckham Jr. I keep saying it in the past too. It's like kind of a dumb analogy, but it's like a fart. If you got to force it, it's shit. And that's I feel like they're trying to force this Odell Beckham Jr. thing in Cleveland, and it's just it's shit.
Let it go.
That's what it is. So
let it go.
Another guy where like Allen Robinson, if I'm Odell Beckham Jr., I'm trying to get out of there because I feel like
it's just killing
as fun
stock.
as it is probably to play with Landry, who's his like best friend, that's his boy. If he wants to salvage his career at the tail end of his career, because he's getting to the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's been in the league for 6, 7, 8 years, whatever it is now.
I think it was like 2013.
He needs to go somewhere else to where he can like revive his career, because if not, he's gonna go down as like, I don't want to say like a one-hit wonder, but
I mean, truly.
Those days are just gone. Those days of seeing 150, 160 targets with the Giants, they're just gone.
Yeah. Hey, did you like that video? No, not the one of Big Ben completely eating shit when nobody even touched him. I'm talking about our fantasy football video we just did. You just watched. Well, guess what? That was just a clip from the full audio podcast. So if you want to check out the whole thing, links down below. AVG Fantasy Football Podcast, Stitcher, Spotify, all of them. Anywhere you can get audio podcasts, we're there. Go ahead and check it out. And if you don't want to look at your fantasy team to look the way Big Ben does right here, wait for it. Come on, replay. This is your fantasy team. But that won't be your fantasy team if you subscribe to AVG Fantasy Football. So go ahead, subscribe and like this video. Subscribe to the channel and like.